Thank you, everybody. So my name is Laura, Reverend Laura, and I am overwhelmed. I've been doing this for some 35 years or like that. I'm an interfaith minister, which means I don't necessarily serve a theology. I serve people wherever they're at. And I know about all the theologies because that's what I do and that's what I love. But this is about people. So the very first thing I'm going to say to you is to look around. I've been doing this for a long time. Sometimes there's 5 people in the audience. Sometimes you get a full room. Look around at how many people Richard touched. Whether you knew him or you are a friend of someone who knew him, look how many people he touched. However that happened, today you decided on a weekend to come out of your homes and to come up here. So very firstly, I honor each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here because although this is Richard's service, all of it has to do with you because he's not here. But every one of you, everyone that decided to wake up this morning and keep going with their day, everyone that knows when someone passes, the sun still comes up the next day, every one of you has some kind of faith. Whether it's a faith in a being or a faith in nature or a faith in the universe, you've got some kind of faith because you're still functioning the day after your heart is ripped. So for a moment, I would like you to honor your faith, whatever that is. I'm going to read a poem called The Mourner's Prayer. A lot of it's in my own words already. But when I say, let us affirm our faith, I would like you all to say, let us affirm our faith. And what it's doing is it's allowing you to recognize your grief and your faith. In this world where we define the mystery of life in many ways, today we get up personal with that divine concept, and we ask the universe to fill our hearts with love. We say that in some way, with or without our understanding, we know that Richard O'Boyle is now with you. Let us affirm our faith.
Let us affirm our faith.
Thank you. Every time Rich passes through our minds, we know that he's part of the universe. He's with you. He's with us. Let us affirm our faith.
Let us affirm our faith.
As we remember with fondness, with tears, with laughter, with joy, please help us to cope with our humanness of missing him. Let us affirm our faith. May that which fills every light, sound, and vibration, that which is the source of creation, make this day for us bearable, believable, and someday understandable. Let us affirm our faith. And I hear it's raining, so if you want a crowd in here, I'm fine with that. Take a minute to get yourselves comfortable. Everybody's good? Okay. So I was on the phone with Jim a few days ago already, and so I heard the story, and my heart is ripped. How do you wake up next to your lover, your husband, and say, oh my God, I'm punching him for breathing, but that's not what's happening here. This is a shock. This is something that is unbelievable, unpreparable for. And so I know Richard already in 2 ways. I know that he touched a lot of people. I know that he must have had a great personality. I know that half of Fire Island loves him. I know the man had personality, but I don't know him as a human being. I'd like for anyone who has the courage, now's the time to talk about him. Now's the formal time to come up, and you might cry, and that's okay, I'll hold on to you. Do we have tissues here? Yeah, we have tissues here. If you can get past the fear of speaking, I would love for anyone who'd like to fill in the gaps Tell me something about him. Tell all of us something about him. He couldn't be just a wonderful guy. He was human. With some of his quirks. Who would like to speak? Come on now. Who are you? You're the lady who got me out here.
I'm Lisa. I'm Rich's cousin, and I wrote something because I'm not good with off-the-cuff stuff.
Favorite cousin.
I'm his favorite cousin.
Fight.
So, in hindsight, I wish I could have told Rich what a fine man he is, and how having him as my cousin has enriched my life and my family's life. So, I'm going to speak to Rich now and tell him things that I've always felt about him, but never said. Rich, I'm in awe of how important family is to you, and how you hold your role as Jim's husband and life partner, and as Christina, Jason, and Yasmin's father, so close to your heart. It is so plain to see your devotion to them. You and Jim created a beautiful nucleus. It's wonderful to see the love and support the five of you share. I looked forward to seeing you and your beautiful family at every Christmas party at Cookies. She's our cousin. You
Not his favorite cousin.
You always took the long drive to make it there, even when it was snowing, like snowstorms. I suspect it was because you wanted your kids to know how grounded they were in family and be able to run around with their bruschetti cousins just like us when we did when we were kids. Isn't it cool that we continued the best of our family's traditions, Rich? And this is where I high-five him. It's great being cousins with you as one of my 4 exceptional O'Boyle cousins and a big list of extended cousins. You are an essential link in our family chain. You are so much like your kind, wonderful father with all his qualities and so much more. I'm so happy to call you my cousin. You mean so much to me. You had the gift of making me and everyone feel seen and heard. When we talked, I always felt that you were fully focused on our conversation, fully tuned in and engaged in what we were talking about. You brought joy to us all just by being your unique, genuine, brave, bold, loving, caring, enthusiastic self. Thank you for being our family genealogist. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing Jim and the kids with us. Thank you for sharing the life you lived in cousins chats on WhatsApp, at family parties, and on Facebook. So I won't make this long, but I pulled a couple of quotes of Rich's. And first one is, I'm fortunate to have been born in a place and time that I didn't have the challenges of the generation just before me. And it's an honor to have been an activist in public and private life. Number 2, send healing and loving vibes, or sending healing and loving vibes. Number 3, look who got married today. Number 4, parenting isn't easy, but we're tasked with giving our children the best of everything. Number 5, thanks so much for always making a favorite family gathering. And number 6, love you guys so much. Love you too, Rich.
A lot of you know that after the store, Rich really wanted to work, and right in our backyard on Fire Island, he found the most amazing job as the finance manager for FIPOA, which stands for Fire Island Owners Pines Property Association. And he was so proud to get the job as finance manager. Henry Robin, who is the president of FIPOA, hired him. And even though it was only 1 week, he came here and would like to say a few words about Rich. Ed, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. In the opening remarks, you mentioned how beloved Rich and Jim and his family are in Fire Island Pines. It's my honor and my privilege to talk about that love with you all today. As Jim mentioned, I'm Henry Robin. I am the president of our Property Owners Association on Fire Island in the Pines. I'm going to start by telling you all, I personally knew Rich for 3 weeks. I met him for the first time 3 weeks ago today when he joined our current finance manager and me in our home on Fire Island to interview for the position. I have hired in my career hundreds and hundreds of people. I have never felt so certain about bringing Rich on to this job in our community as I was in spending 60 minutes of time meeting him for the first time 3 weeks ago today. He was smart, compassionate, caring, love for his community, motivated to give back to us, motivated to share his skills with our community. Jim mentioned when I arrived today to say hello to him how much this job meant to Rich. Rich never let on how much this job meant to him. What Rich emphasized was how much he could contribute to our community. Bringing Rich on was an important measure to service and care for our community. It was not for Rich. I was surprised to hear, not because of how wonderful he is, but how much this meant to him. It meant more to us to have him there. I woke up in the morning next to my husband, alive and well, showing me a text he received from a neighbor of Rich and Jim's, telling my husband that Rich had passed, to please let me know. I shot up in bed and said, I don't believe that. I asked my husband, show me this text. He showed it to me and I read it. I still didn't believe it. So I called the person who texted him and we had a conversation, their next door neighbor. This is so hard for all of us to believe. It's so hard to internalize. I've known Rich for 3 weeks. I'm the one who went and told our staff who had worked with him for 4 days. And I've never seen such an outpouring of grief and care and compassion. All of that in 3 weeks. So for those of you who've had 3 months, 3 years, 30 years, or a lifetime, I can only imagine the beautiful things that he brought to your life, to the grief you must feel. On behalf of our community in Fire Island, our love goes out to Rich, to Jim, and to your 3 beautiful children, and to all of you here today. From the Pines, Rich, we love you, we appreciate you, and we will always remember you in our community. Thank you.
I can't imagine a man being that extraordinary and that good looking. I wonder what you're going to remember. Thank you for helping me put some of the puzzle pieces together. Who would like to speak next?
I would.
Come on up. Are you more comfortable standing there?
Oh yeah, like actually, I have to always push myself so I get better.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's a way for everyone to So, I was Jim Ford,
And you're Jim Ford?
and I've known him about 30 years. You may just I met you just before you started bringing him around, and then we were at one of Steve DeRose's parties, and there's Rich. You introduced me to Rich, and he's kind of like, I can't say anything wrong. I have to do everything right, because he kind of was so shocked that you were like his prospect. At least that's how I saw it. That's how I saw it. And all the time, and since that moment, 37 years ago, it's like sometimes closer, sometimes further away, but always right behind me. You know, it's like you just always knew that I was there. They were there, and I lost another Fire Island friend in February, and I just happened to call Charlie 3 days before he died, and we had one of those conversations. Charlie Phillips.
Okay.
And we had a conversation where everything got taken care of. It was like nothing got left unsaid, and people don't get that. You know, and with him, with Rich, it's like, well, that's not necessary. You know, it's one of these things, something that's lost. So we knew each other. We'd see each other clubbing, and then they kind of disappeared for a while. Well, then I find out, you know, they adopted children. And then I find out, I guess.
Clubbing and children.
I guess some information. I work for child welfare in the city of New York, and they adopted the family out of that system. And so it was one morning, and I can't remember what we were having, either coffee or a cocktail. And Rich starts telling me their story of the adoption, and the two of them seamlessly, and then he would jump in and say that, and then he would jump in and see that, and say this, and it was so beautiful. And Jim, Rich always had on his sleeve his love, and he would cry like that if he thought something. It was just so warm that way, and I hear this, and I'm like, I had a husband. And I'm like, oh my God, he's joining the club you don't want anybody to have to join. And you just have been such great friends for so long. And you've tolerated me, you know me before you tolerate me. So, there's this movie called Dark Crystal. And in it, the hero character is set on his journey, and he meets the oldest person in this world. And he says, she says, who sent you? And he says, oh, the legs of the master. Is he here? He goes, no, he died. Oh, could be anywhere then. And I like that. I think, no, Rich could be anywhere. Anywhere right now. And it's funny. I've been very lucky. Dead relatives and friends have sometimes shown up and talked to me.
Very cool.
Oh, what's nice about it is, I know my grandmother was there when my father died in the front room, and I know, well, that means that they'll all be there for me.
They're waiting.
They'll all be there for me, and then that means I have to be there for you. So it's kind of nice to, I could do it rationally and say, well, there's this, that, and the other, you know, it's this, and I go, no. Grandma Lucy came and told me everything's going to be okay, and that's fine enough for me.
It's fine enough for me.
You know, and you'll find okay, you know. And boy, you did a great job with these kids. Great job. And I've had fun watching them grow up. I don't, yeah, you know, how you remember me or not. You know, when you live in Brooklyn, it's very different. So, call me anytime, please. Whenever you need it.
So we learned that he was wonderful at business. I have him feeling a little bit anal just because things had to get done a particular way. That's why people in business like people. We learned that he was single. We learned that he was a lover. We learned that he was a husband. And then we learned he had family. Anyone else?
Is that everything? Okay, I'll let Angie let us.
Oh, no. I'm Richard's brother. So we had family, so they're good to lead in. Thank you. So I'm Richard's younger brother, and I wrote stuff down because I'm getting old and I gotta remember things, and
getting old and I need glasses.
Look how large the print is.
So they can read it in the back. I have. I'm gonna try. But I'm joined by my brothers, my sister, my cousins, and a lot of family. You know, during this, it's heart wrenching. Forgive me if I don't make eye contact because that's where I lose it. But maybe I'll bring some light to the conversation too, because we haven't talked about Rich's sense of humor and how he made us laugh and smile. We talked about smile, but laughter was big.
Was
So
he a prankster?
he was a prankster.
One of those people.
He was one of those people.
Okay.
So over 20 years ago, Rich spoke at my wedding, and you know, he was tasked with giving a speech, and he commanded it. He was fun, he was funny, he was charismatic, spoke intelligently and fluidly, and everybody came away feeling great about how he spoke and how he connected with people. So as I'm up here today, I think he's getting the last laugh as I'm talking at his memorial, because I think he got the better end of this bargain. This is difficult.
And thank you for that. Thank you for being courageous.
It's
Got it.
it's tough. You know, but you know, Rich, you know, like he was one of the most intelligent people that I know. Given a task, given an idea, given something to ponder, he would take it to one level and answer that question. And then I want to give you more. I learned more, and I want to share more. And that's how he approached everything. You know, personally, professionally, everything. You know,
Do you like Jeopardy?
Yes. So inherently, he was super intelligent, book smart,
And well, he's one of
super
those
intelligent.
people.
So I'm not surprised because my father was the Jeopardy champ.
Right.
You know, if he had gone on the show, we would have had a lot more steak dinners and a lot less mac and cheese. You know, because he answered everything just like Rich, was a wealth of information and knowledge. My brother Chris is an engineer, he's out here somewhere. My brother John is a doctor, and I spent 30 years as a cop. But I think it's pretty good. There we go. Half a caveman. You know, but I think I'm pretty smart. You know, so if as I'm talking I, you know, fail in an enunciation or pronunciation or my grammar, just give me grace. Okay. Yeah. He would correct me. When lightning strikes, you know, we'll know that I made an error. So if I say things like, Rich is this and Rich is that, you know, rather than Rich was this or was that, that's my choice and it's not my
That's not
lack
a
of
mistake.
intellect.
It's not a mistake.
Right. So growing up, the O'Boyle boys. There's 4 of us. In the neighborhood, it was the O'Boyle boys. Must have been the O'Boyle boys. In school, another O'Boyle boy. You know, it was the O'Boyle boys. One of our oldest friends, you know, flew in from New Orleans, a neighborhood kid. You know, like, you know, it was a great place to grow up. Rich and I were the younger of the 4 boys, so we always shared a room, you know, a bedroom. You know, we had bunk beds until that became a liability.
This is the world we live in.
Because as kids are gonna do what kids do, and do our best to get hurt. So bunk beds became, you know, 2 twin beds, and we'd jump around and be fools, and you know, you get yelled at and all that fun stuff. But that was part of growing up, you know, as the O'Boyle boys. But the other thing that, as far as Rich being a prankster, so my parents had to figure out how to curb that. And my father was a proud man and a prominent man, and he sat at the head of the table. The dinner table was round. His wife, Mariana, my mother, sat across from him. So that successfully divided us. So the four kids couldn't, kick and bite and scream and so it was only 2 versus 2. So they each had a hand, and in an Irish Catholic household, we went to church and all that fun stuff. If you're Catholic, or even if you're not, you know that a position of prominence is at the right hand of the Father. Right?
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
Well, in our house, it was different. It was a position of discipline. So, whoever was the biggest cut up of the month, of the week, of the day, mid-meal, it didn't matter. You got to sit at the right hand of the Father. Because, like I said, my father was a very proud man, proud of his marriage and our family. He proudly wore his wedding ring until the day he died. Never saw him take it off. And on his right hand, he was very proud of his education, his college education at the United States Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point. And a title like that deserves a prominent ring that had a prominent ruby red stone. So if you were cutting up, you got the little.
Oh.
And younger people are like, oh my God, abuse. No. It's just an attention getter. Just knock it off. So that was that. And I'm gonna say, Rich occupied that seat. Chris was a close second, but Rich occupied that seat.
That's why he was
Mostly.
That's why he was in activist, because he just kept going.
He always fighting back. Right. I can't. I see him back there. He's waiting to throw something at me. So, moving on, Rich went down to D.C. All of us went our separate ways. Maine, Annapolis. I was in Philadelphia, and at one point during a college break, my mother was the German stoic, and she sat me down. She's just like, Matt, I got to tell you something. Okay, like I'm home 2 hours. What did I do already? And she said, Rich told Dad and I that he's gay. I'm like, okay. Like, and I'm waiting for it, and I was maybe 18, 19, something like that, and I didn't know how that affected me. I'm just like, it's not.
It's like, okay, next.
Right. So the next time that I hung around with Rich, after that conversation with my mother, something was different about him. Something had changed, and it was like we were knuckleheads again, doing silly kid stuff. Great conversations, and it took me a little bit to put my finger on it, but now he was kinder, more fun. He was funnier. He was happier, more intelligent, if that was possible. He was unencumbered, and I was, I loved him that much more as a brother and as a friend. Seeing how proud he was, and that he had found the courage to express himself, during those years in DC. So I was. That's how it affected me. I figured out how it would affect me.
So you're proud of him?
Absolutely, I'm proud of him. Yeah. So, professionally and personally, if we think about success, professionally, he was all over the place. He did, Ernst & Young, New York Life, Woodbury Men's Shop, moved up and up and up and up, and he was very proud of all those things. He was proud of his partnership in the business, and he was proud to retire, and he was very proud of the position with Fire Island Finance Association. and it meant a lot to him because at that point it was kind of a marriage of his personal life and professional life, because the Pines is the happy place that he loves. So he had expressed to our family how proud he was of that and how happy he was to be moving on to that position. I'm going to close because I'm not going to talk about that.
We'll miss you.
Everybody grieves a different way, and I can only think about how I'm going to grieve this. I remember 24 years ago, when my father died, I was reminded of that day, the day of the funeral, when I spoke to Jim last Saturday morning, where we were on the phone crying and yelling and why, what do you mean, like how, what do we do? Because my father was that person as well, that charismatic, who do you go to when you have a question person? So I think that I'm going to have my conversations with Rich. I don't have the physical embodiment sitting next to me or on the phone, but I'm confident that I'm going to feel his warmth and wisdom, just like I look at, and there's so much warmth and love here. It's very amazing, and I know that he's probably with my parents and Uncle Joe and Aunt Vincy and all of our family that's moved on, and his friends. I know he has so many friends that have passed away, and maybe he's now sitting at the left hand of the father.
I was going to say,
I don't know, but or maybe it's been redefined as a position of prominence. But he's smiling down upon all of us, and he's happy to see that we're all here together, speaking with love and unity. Thank you.
I know that it's raining and I want to be cognizant of that, but I would still like anyone who would like to speak, just remember that it's raining. Before you come up, because you've been waiting.
John's here.
Wow, they're just pushing you under the bus every time. That's
I like to
okay?
be under the bus.
Okay.
Bus is a good location.
So I'm gonna cheat as well. So I'm John. I'm Rich's older brother.
One of the four Boyles.
One of the few Boyle boys. Yeah, I am told that I look like Rich and our dad. Probably the most close. He's a more handsome guy. But, it's nice to be in the same conversation. So. Yeah, Matt really talked a lot about stuff, and I see many people here I do not know. We've got a lot of people that are part of his growing up. So there's, immediate family and the four boys and sister, and then our cousins. And I think I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we grew up and what it was like. And Matt hit on a few of those things, so to speak. But it was really, the family, the neighborhood, and the cousins. And I'll try to be speedy here, but we were in New Jersey. Our dad worked in sort of the Fort Lee area and in New York, and we just grew up in a normal neighborhood. This neighborhood reminds me a little bit of ours. We all knew each other. We didn't have phones. We had bikes and two legs. And we spent most of our time playing with other kids in the neighborhood, riding bikes, walking around. I mean, on a summer day, we might walk 15 or 20 miles to the park, to the town, wherever we were going, because we didn't have summer camps, and we just grew up hanging out with each other. Like I said, we knew our neighbors. If someone had chicken pox, the nurse from up the street came down and checked him out and said, yeah, you don't need to go to the doctor just yet, or that sort of thing. So it was a Levittown type neighborhood in New Jersey. So things we did, we played kick the can, in the street in front of our house. We rode our bikes, later we rode our mopeds. We played 500 where you hit the ball up the street and hopefully it doesn't hit a car window. I think that had happened once or twice. We played kill the guy with the ball on the side of the house. I don't think that is authorized anywhere anymore, but it was popular in Matawan, New Jersey in the 70s. So some of you may remember that. We would ride our bikes in the woods and trails in the woods, and that was probably not safe, but that's what we were doing, and at the end of the day when it got dark, there would be a yell saying, hey, can you guys come home? Where are you guys? And we would eventually make it home for dinner or whatever. And it was a different time and a different life, but it was good because we just spent time and enjoyed each other's presence and had a good time. And so there was our family and our neighbors, and then our cousins. We were a close-knit family, all New York, New Jersey. The Bruschetti crew was here on Long Island. Jamaica Bay, something, I forget the name of it. Kings Park. My mom grew up in Great Neck, my dad went to Kings Point, and so it is, So we would always have visits to the cousins or the grandparents, and that's what we did. I was never on a flight until I was in college. We drove, we walked, we rode our bikes, we spent time with each other, we spent time with our cousins, and that's what we did with holidays, birthdays, and it's great to see that crew here today. So we got Mark from England on the Capel side, we got the Bruschetti girls in from Atlanta and Florida and Philadelphia. So we have the family here. So other things we would do, we would play Dungeons and Dragons. Is that still allowed? Does anyone do that? One of our Dungeons and Dragons friends is here from from New Orleans, lived 3 houses away when we were growing up. So we would look for shark's teeth in the woods up by our house, and we would find them all the time because some millions of years ago that was under an ocean. So that was cool. And so then we all went our separate ways as families do. We went to college. I was in Annapolis, Maryland, and Bethesda, Maryland, and it was kind of cool because when I was in college, Rich was in DC at George Washington University, and then I was in medical school, and he was in his first job living in Arlington, Virginia, so we actually got to see each other for a period of years before we kind of went all over the place in different states and different jobs and so forth. And I had some really fun times with Rich during those years. And DC is a cool place. Foggy Bottom is where George Washington is. That's where the original Tower Records was. And it's just some great places to go and eat and hang out. So we had some good times. And I think at that point he started being kind of interested in, maybe finance and trying to figure out what his real job was. His first job was like a journalistic type job. And I remember he gave me the first article that he wrote, and I wish I had that. I don't have that. But he was doing that kind of work. But I think he was thinking about finance, and he was smart, and he was frugal, and he would tell me, public transportation. He didn't have a car. He was figuring it out. And I remember he told me that you really didn't have to buy ketchup or mustard. Because if you went to McDonald's at least once or twice a month, you could get enough ketchup and mustard and napkins to last a while.
That all makes sense.
So I learned, but he was, he was on top of it, and he was always in the details, and I think my thing is down here, but then, then I left, I went to San Diego, and, honestly, we all haven't seen each other a ton, and it's a sad thing for us, but it's, one thing about Rich is, and I'm really grateful that he shared his life with us, he shared his experiences with us. His Facebook stuff is actually great, and so I felt like I knew what was going on. And what was going on was he was being a family guy, He got together with Jim, we've got kids going on here, and that's what he was doing. He wasn't flying to San Diego to see me. He wasn't flying to Washington State to see me. He was taking care of his family and spending time with his family, which is what we all need to do. And I am okay with that, and I'm glad that he shared things with us, his runs, the men's shop, all of those things. So I miss him a lot.
Before somebody stands up, I'm thinking you should take advantage.
Do we have rain?
Do we have rain? Yes, I know.
Like, I'll try to be loud and I'll try to be quick because I love this family very much. I'm an old soul. My name is David, and Peter and I have known them from the beginning. And everything I always talk about comes from an old soul, so you'll bear with me. Many, many years ago, an old comedian was at the end of his life. And at the end of his life, a reporter said to him, "You've attained everything, wealth, fame, the riches, everything that shows you're on top." And he said, "You've missed the point. That's not what shows you what's on top. It's in here." And then he proceeded to say, this old comedian, "If you have any talent, it's God's gift to you. And if you use that talent, why, then that's your gift to God." And Rich's talent was tenfold, along with Jimmy. They were the greatest parents. And I don't say this to make you cry, but they were the greatest parents. And I continue my point, because I too had not seen the children in a while, but they still loved us. And on that day he should pass, and I see Jason. He sees me cry and he says, "I love you. You're my family. And even though time is in between us, you're my family. You'll always be my family. I love you, Uncle Dave." And then the girls come to me and they say, "We're going to miss that balance that my fathers had. They leveled each other. They had balance. How much we love you," they say to me. I say to you, you give them that balance, because through love, as my beautiful mother at 91 when she's leaving the earth says, "If you have love, love conquers all. May all the sick be well, my dear." And I said, "Yes, Mom." And as she taught me those lessons, she said, "One day we'll all be together." Well, Rich and I are watching the sunrise set, the water go in and out, while Pete and Jimmy are frolicking through Provincetown, and we're sitting there watching this sun go down. And I say to my brother, "One day we'll all be together. I'm the big brother." And he says, "Okay, I'll let you have the last word, my brother, because I want us all together. And I want peace in life to be ever after and eternal." So to my brother, the policeman would end it this way, because I was a policeman at some point in my life with Peter. Hard to believe, but I stepped into those shoes. Thanks for Jimmy always guiding me and saying there's nothing you can't do. And then he and Rich give that to their children. We would end it this way in our brotherhood as policemen. If I were hung from the highest tree, whose tears will come up to me, my brothers? And if I were drowned in the deepest sea, whose tears will come down to me, my brothers? For the world may call you failure, and the fates grind you small. But in the eyes of your brother, you're as great and big as them all. He is our big brother. We love you, Rich. May peace be all your eternal future. May the heavens be your ceiling where your happiness is concerned. And may the love we have for you today, may that be your legacy, because we truly love you. How much we love all of you.
Amen. Anyone else? Okay, come on up, please.
It's going to be short and sweet because I cried.
It's all good, honey. It's all good. Crying is okay. It's worth every tear.
I just wanted to say, I mean, there's a couple of us that are Fine Island people.
Who are you?
I'm Carrie. I live 2 doors down. Aside from the Fine Island people, who I understand community very strongly, amongst all of you, people that you don't know, which Rich's brother mentioned, are all his neighbors. They're in that corner, they're sitting down over here, they're over there, they're in the middle. And I just want to say that family and community are not the only people he touched. As neighbors, we loved him. We loved to see him walk his dog down the street in the morning and say good morning as I was leaving for work and walking in the rain and going, makes your hair soft. But I just wanted to let you know that there's another community also.
Couldn't do it without you guys.
First of all, I want to thank you all and for all of your support. I need to thank Gigi and Don, who were here as fast as they could and have gotten me through the last 7 days to this point, because I could have never done it without the 2 of you and helping our children. The outpour from everyone, the phone calls, the texts, the posts, have meant a lot to me. So many of you would say there are no words when they would text or call, and you know what? Yes, there are no words to understand how an incredible person, so full of life, so physically strong, appearing completely healthy and fit, can leave us so quickly and put us in a state of shock and disbelief. For over 31 years, I've had the true fortune to be loved by Rich. He loved me with all his heart. He only wanted to see me happy and grow to my full potential, and he did that. Rich knew how to bring out the best in me and everyone he knew. We did everything together to achieve our goals in life. We met in 1994 on a dance floor in New York City at a Halloween party at a ballroom called Roseland. Our eyes locked, and I think we both knew this is the one. Over a 2-year-long distant relationship while he was getting his master's at the University of GW, no more than 2 weeks ever went by where one of us didn't make the trip between DC, here, and Islip to see each other. Moving day to Islip was one of the most exciting days to finally be together every day. We worked hard to build the lifestyle we wanted to live. We made our dreams reality, from traveling to moving to a bigger home here in Islip, opening our menswear store together, and making that a success, downsizing Long Island back to here, and recently purchasing a home in St. Petersburg, Florida. But our biggest, most joyous, rewarding of all was becoming fathers to these beautiful children you see right here beside me. Or should I say young adults? Our journey was not supposed to end this soon. Rich always said he was going to live to 100, and I agreed with him. Rich was so proud. Rich was so proud, as I was of him too, just starting a job at FIPOA. We had just started making plans to start traveling more overseas. One of Rich's biggest passions had become Lithuanian geology. He became so passionate about it, he was completely absorbed and just loved it. He would travel to different libraries, churches, cemeteries, do research through the computer to find his ancestors. He joined other genealogy groups. He ran one himself to help others to research their past relatives. Rich just loved to keep learning. Rich loved his family so much. His brothers Chris, John, Matthew, his sister Kathy, his aunts, his uncles, his cousins, his nephews, his nieces, and all his friends. He loved my side of the family like it was his own, treating and loving my parents like they were his own, like they were his own mom and dad, and they loved him like their own son. Rich and I had a mutual passion for all things nature. All our life, hiking, camping, snorkeling, kayaking, biking, but he was a much bigger runner than me. We constantly shared pics on our phone if we missed seeing something beautiful of nature together. If we weren't together at the time, we would just send them back and forth. Every time I see the beauty of nature, I will know Rich is with me. Rich, you filled my life with more than words can say. I thank you with all my heart. Thank you for loving me so deeply. I hope our next accomplishment is that we dance together again. I love you. I love you so much.
So much.
It seems like this is a perfect time to talk about tears. We live in a society that wants to make everybody feel good. So you're all going to go home at one point or another, and your lives are going to take on some kind of normal. And in this household, that's not happening. So when you have a feeling like, gee, I miss Rick, I'd like to call Jim, but I don't want to make him feel bad, or I don't want to make him cry, I ask you to take a moment and check in with yourself and remember that you're human. Humans cry. We speak a lot about the younger generation and how they're stuck on machines and that they're not relating enough. You're all not babies, so you've been in different generations. Crying is part of the deal, it's part of life. To have life and to not have grief is a lie. Part of being alive is grief. That's the way life is. I challenge all of you, I beg all of you, not next week, but a month from now, 2 months from now, when you feel the urge, give Jim a call and make him cry. Relating to one another is how we grow. I know that most of you should have this. I decided the last words should be from Rich himself. So he posted this, he did not write it, he posted it on Facebook, and I don't even do Facebook, but I was told about it. There's a lot of this. Do I need to pass out more, folks? Okay. I'm going to read you evidently, so one of the things I'm hearing is that Rich was a great guy, and he was a father. And he didn't just father the three of you. If you're an activist, it's because you want to move people, you want to grow people, you want to change people, you want to parent people. That's part of his giving, evidently. So what he posted was how to be human. And I also heard that he practiced from the Buddhist tradition, and this comes straight from that. So I'm going to read all 20 of these, and read along with me if you like. He's talking to you. And it seems to me, when I read all these at home, it seems to me that he lived up to all of it. Before you die as a human, do these things. Tell people you love that you love them. One day there will be a last conversation, a last hug, and a last chance to say what truly matters. Watch a sunrise without rushing anywhere. Sit quietly and remember that life is happening beyond deadlines, notifications, and worries. Forgive yourself for being human. You were never meant to live without mistakes, without failures, heartbreaks, or moments of confusion. Travel somewhere that changes your perspective. Stand before mountains, oceans, forests, or star-filled skies, and remember how vast life really is. Fall deeply in love with something, a person, a purpose, a craft, nature, learning. Life becomes richer when your heart is fully awake. Spend more time with your parents. One day you'll realize they're growing older while you're busy growing up. Learn how to enjoy your own company. If you cannot sit peacefully with yourself, there are parts of your soul still waiting to be discovered. Help someone who cannot repay you. The purest acts of kindness expect nothing in return. Learn how to let go. People leave, seasons change, chapters end. Peace begins when you stop fighting reality. Express yourself without fear. Sing, dance, create, write, speak. Don't leave your true self trapped inside self-doubt. Spend time in nature. The trees, rivers, rain, mountains, and stars have a way of reminding you what truly matters. I feel like he's surrounding us with the rain. Heal the wounds that keep hiding. Unhealed pain quietly shapes your relationships, choices, and happiness. Take photos with the people you love. One day those pictures may become some of your most treasured possessions. Allow yourself to cry when life hurts. Strong people feel their emotions. They don't spend their lives running from them. Experience true stillness. A peaceful mind is one of the most beautiful experiences a human being can have. Learn something deeper than survival. Study wisdom, philosophy, spirituality, art, all the questions that give life meaning. Stop postponing your happiness. Life is not waiting for you somewhere in the future. It's unfolding right now. Leave people better than you found them. A kind word, a helping hand, or a compassionate heart can leave a mark that lasts far beyond your lifetime. One day, none of us will care how much money we made, how many followers we had, how impressive we looked. We'll care about the people we loved, the memories we created, kindness we shared, and whether we truly lived while we had the chance. Before you die, don't just exist. Feel deeply, love fully, forgive often, be present, take risks, make memories, and leave this world with a heart that can honestly say, I was here. It says Reverend Corrine under there. That's my student. I'm Reverend Laura. On the back, take a look. Life without grief is not life. When grief shows up, it cannot always be understood or managed in a logical way. This is when your spiritual need comes forth. For that reason, a conversation costs nothing. An email is just a click away. It is my honor and my privilege to be here for you, and I left you my contact info. So that means pick up the phone. I'm a stranger. It's the best place to dump your stuff. I love you all. I wish for the soul of your beloved, of your father. I wish for him to be strong. I wish for him to be free. I wish for him to fly and be a part of all of this and all of you. I wish that every time you look in each other's eyes, you see him, embrace him, cry if you must, laugh when the time comes, honor yourselves, and thank you for honoring him.